In Pakistan, how has your experience been so far? Realme entering into this industry, which is so saturated.
Where I worked in as marketing director, Oppo Pakistan.
China, Pakistan, how has your experience been in Pakistan? So what we see is that there are 200 plus million users of Realme here in Pakistan.
There was a product named Note 50, the most successful hit we made.
If somebody comes and they want to purchase Realme, that quality element isn't at par with what we see in Apple and Samsung.
So first of all, I'd like to correct one of the pointers here.
Do you think that the competition in the market is Samsung and Apple for you guys?
I have that confidence that Realme is at least doing the top pay in smartphone company.
Today, we're diving into the dynamic and rapidly evolving world of mobile technology where competition is fierce and only the most agile brands survive. 2018 में Realme ने एक highly saturated market के अंदर enter किया, competing over 700 brands. Fast forward to today, they have become one of the fastest growing mobile manufacturers in the world, with 200 million users and counting. So इनका secret क्या है? How have they managed to carve out a significant share of the market in just 5 years? Going toe-to-toe with giants like Samsung and Apple. From the company itself to the tech situation of Pakistan, this podcast is surely going to be very interesting since the man behind Realme's global sales is sitting right in front of us.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me here.
Okay, so starting off with your journey first of all. So you have been in this tech industry for so long, I mean 6-7 years now, right?
Yeah.
So how do you see this industry in the first place? Then being in Pakistan, how has your experience been so far? And then Realme entering into this industry, which is so saturated, and then a lot of people using it actually. What's your take on that? So if we could just start off with your journey.
So right after I graduated, I was working in Oppo, China. And then after a certain time, then I shifted to Pakistan, where I worked in as marketing director of Oppo Pakistan. And after 2 to 3 years of fierce competition with the other mobile brands, where we won the first place, I mean, in 2019 and 2020. And then I left and I went back to China and had my own business there. And it was at 2023 where some familiar people in the industry, they invited me again back to Pakistan. They said Realme is gonna have a restart, yeah, and we're about to do something big. So I went back here. I came back here in 2023, and that's when I started to get the Realme Marketing running. Yeah.
Okay, so you've told us that you've been traveling back and forth, China, Pakistan. So I think first of all, we should also talk about how has your experience been in Pakistan so far? What's the difference you see in the Chinese market and then here in the Pakistani market?
Actually, back in China, I wasn't working in smartphone industry, but what I can feel is that the atmosphere is quite intense because all the mobile brands, all major mobile brands are from China, and China is their, the main market. Of course, everyone is doing really aggressive marketing there back in China. And after coming back to Pakistan, I think relatively the pace is a bit slower, where we have more breathing space. However, the investment from all brands in Pakistan it's also quite intense compared with the other countries, because everyone is seeing Pakistan as the most potential market in the world because of its 2.35 million population, right? Yeah, that's huge, and because of Pakistan's need of the change from feature phone to smartphone. Yeah, that's making Pakistan mobile industry a really competitive one.
Okay, that is great to hear. I think as Pakistanis take a lot of motivation from people working in China. I think you said that it's kind of a setback that the industry is so fast-paced in China, but I think we should actually be looking forward to that as Pakistanis. So I'd circle back to that statement you made that you were working in Oppo before and now you're with Realme. Why did you switch?
Actually, it wasn't a direct switch. So it was in 2019, 2020, and 2021, and 3 years of really intense competition, and I think I should maybe have some sort of rest and have my own business, yeah, to work on. Then I went back to China, and it was the kind of chilling days that I have, and it was just right after the chilling days that I suddenly just some some news and some information about the mobile industry in China. It just reminded me of those days when I just fought with the other brands in Pakistan market. So
Right.
I was just kind of record, yeah, those memories just record me. So and at the moment there was an opportunity of Realme, so I just went back. Yeah.
I think the time was
Mm.
in your favor. You took a break, and then suddenly there's a change of the
Yeah.
company. Right, that is
And
cool. So what we see
mm,
is that there are 200 plus million users of
mm,
Realme here in
mm.
Pakistan and also around the globe. So I think Realme is performing really nicely. So how do you think, what is happening in the industry in itself as far as Realme is concerned, and also what is that secret mantra, or what is how is the success coming along for Realme?
So it could be condensed into three reasons, and I think first, most importantly, is that you have to have that capability of producing reliable, innovative, and first-class kind of product, and that is the promise. And fortunately, we have that capability because to disclose something here, because Oppo and Realme, they came from the same background. We have a larger business group, a larger business corporate back in China, where Oppo and Realme it's competitor. Also, they're sharing some sort of resources together. Yeah, that's how we have the confidence of saying that we are the number one quality smartphone brand in Pakistan as well. All right. Okay. And secondly, we as a brand, if you're gonna elevate fast, then the second thing is that you have that very good product strategy, as in so usually the process in the industry is like HQ is developing products, and the products are for the entire world, and usually it covers hundreds of countries, yeah, in the world. But actually some of the products fit certain market, but some don't fit. So what the other brands are doing here in Pakistan is that they just imported those products from China to Pakistan, and then they do their marketing and do their selling. They don't care whether this kind of products fit the Pakistan market. However, we do the kind of research which makes us assure that the products we import from China, we assemble here in Pakistan. It's just rightly accommodating people's need here. And to give a better, even more aggressive example, so there was a product named Note 50. I'm not sure whether you are aware of or not. That was the most the most successful hit we made after we came back in 2023, and that product was just based in the inside of the South Asia market. Yeah, because the trend of mobile brands in the mobile brands is that they pay more attention to the high end product and more premium products, because there's a lot of margin in there, and people, they would like to sell those kind of products all over the world.
Okay, so that's great to hear. I think there's a lot of R&D happening in Realme. So I had this one concern, and I think a lot of people listening to this podcast would have the same concern, that Realme is a kind of a phone, and you guys are operating in an industry that is targeting a niche that is more of a lower middle class, where people actually want to go for budget friendly phones. But for instance, if you take me as an audience, or if I am an iPhone user or an Android Samsung user, at the end of the day, I think those phones are a bit at the higher notch, and they're not gonna compete Realme anytime soon, right? So what do you think, that how are you guys catering to that market? So if somebody comes and they want to purchase Realme, that quality element isn't at par with what we see in Apple and Samsung. So does that bother you or the company? How does that work?
Actually, so first of all, I'd like to correct one of the pointers here. So we are not positioning our brand as a low-end brand.
Okay.
We are more actually positioning our brand more like a tech popularizer.
But then you think that the competition in the market is Samsung and Apple for you guys?
Actually, there were two ways to explain what tech popularizer means. So being a tech popularizer, first it means to bring the low end device to more touchable customer groups. Yeah, means in such an area where most people are using feature phones. Not most people, at least a major group of people, they are using feature phones. For those type of users, I think what they need right now is the most reliable phones with affordable price. Yeah, this is one. And being a tech popularizer doesn't mean that we don't have any high-end devices to sell.
Okay, so I think there's a lot that is happening in Realme in terms of R&D, in terms of marketing. I've seen the ad campaigns, they're pretty amazing. But one thing that I want to talk about here is about the competition. So we see there's Apple, there's Samsung, they're the clear market leaders out there. So when we talk about Realme, so you guys have come up with great budget-friendly phones, and you guys are also targeting the higher niche there. But then I think there's the kind of stigma that's attached to Realme in the way that it's the budget-friendly phone, right? And it cannot compete with Apple and Samsung, which might be right, which might be wrong, and that is something that I want to hear from you, that you guys take Apple and Samsung as a competition, or Realme in itself has a market that doesn't need those kind of people who are inclined towards Apple or Samsung. What's your take on that?
Actually, I think this is more of a trade-off of our marketing strategy in terms not as perceived, not as how the other people are perceiving that Realme is just producing low-end products, that we don't have any high-end products to compete with Apple and Samsung. Actually, when we develop in certain markets, we start from ground, because actually that's how we create awareness among the majority. And after having a really stable fan base, then we gradually step up by providing high-end devices towards our customers. Actually, in some of the regions in the world, like Europe, where we focus on GT series and number series, those more high-end devices. But actually, if we are gonna bring that strategy to Pakistan, and we just start with GT series and number series here, it's really hard for us to get our ground. Yeah, because majority of the people here, they are using cheaper prices, and even some of the people here, they're just using feature phones. So it's more about the marketing strategy. Yeah, and since Realme has already seized its ground after a 1 year's competition with the other brands, right now we are rising towards top 4 brand in terms of market share here in Pakistan. We surpassed one of the mainstream brands here in Pakistan in Q2 this year. And obviously, just pay attention to our next moves, and we're gonna bring some surprises here in Pakistan, where to solve where we could, I believe we could solve your doubts here about competition with Samsung and Apple for in high-end bracket. Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, actually, that's quite an achievement. And also, like, my brother is a Realme user. I haven't used it, but I actually used that phone. It is quite a good phone. I think it's just the sort of positioning that Apple and Samsung have done in the market here in Pakistan as well. The people are quite skeptical when they want to buy such phones. Maybe it's because of the quality, or maybe it's because of the camera, because there's a lot of content creation happening in Pakistan as well. But I think if something of that sort is coming in Pakistan, Realme is bringing that. So I really look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Larry. So if we talk about the Pakistani market now, how do you think that the international markets and China itself sees Pakistan as a country where they could invest?
I believe that the answer is quite obvious. Yeah, as you could see, if you travel to Islamabad, you could see all those Chinese even walking around the street. And actually, Pakistan is perceived as the most potential market. You could see like top 10 potential market in the world, because it's got that large population and it's got that purchase power.
So, Larry, now if we talk about the Pakistani market, how do you think that the international investors, how do they see Pakistan as as a place where they could invest? And also, there's a popular mindset here that the labor is very cheap in Pakistan, so that is why a lot of countries, including China, come here in Pakistan. So, do you think that is the case, or the people here are actually dedicated to work?
I think obviously the answer is not just about the labor's price. I think the major reason why all the investors internationally they are here is because first it's about the population. It's got 2.35 million of population, right? And that's the scale. And that's the first thing. And second thing, it's people, they have demand. I'm not sure about the other industry, but in smartphone industry, actually, we spot that people here, at least like 60% of people here, they are still using featured phones. Yeah, this is quite rare in some other countries. So that's to say people, they have demand here, and secondly, they're large in scale. So I think these are the two factors that attract those international investors mostly. Yeah.
Right. So when you guys actually started your business here in Pakistan, was there any sort of challenges you guys faced in terms of starting the plant here in Pakistan? And
Mm.
what was the decision-making process like that you guys have to come to Pakistan to start this?
Actually, the execution problem isn't that huge as compared with the challenge we are facing of the taxation. Yeah.
Mm.
Also, there is also an echo of the last question. Yeah, why every investor is seeing Pakistan as the most potential market in the world, but actually there are not too many people or too many brands coming to Pakistan. Worldwide. I think the major obstacle is about the taxation.
It's okay.
So I believe once
Mm.
government somehow decreases the taxation, and there would be more brands
Mm.
coming to Pakistan, and at that time I think the scale of the international investment is gonna be maybe 10 times or 11 times, 12 times bigger. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm very glad to hear that coming from you as well. I hope our government takes some action on this because tax is actually a burden here in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So now if we talk about the Pakistani tech talent, what's your take on that when you guys are actually looking forward towards hiring people for maybe R&D or marketing? So what's in your mind when it comes to Pakistani tech talent in itself?
Tech talent.
Yeah, the labor, the people, the
The
tech
labor
talent
people.
of Pakistan.
Actually, there are many.
What's the percentage of people you guys hire from Pakistan and for certain roles in the company?
All right. So in the local company, I think around 95% it's Pakistan.
Oh,
It's Pakistani.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Hmm.
And also we believe that the local market insight should be provided by local people, and that's why we are offering opportunities of all kinds of posts. As you, if you're gonna break down the posts, you could see from the head office, from the regional sales team, and from the service centers, and from the marketing team. You could tell that we have a large variety of opportunities of different kinds of jobs, yeah, to offer to Pakistanis.
Right. So there's actually a trend of technology that we're seeing. It's emerging day by day. So a lot of people are actually interested in working in tech companies now, be it Google, be it Apple, or be it any other local or international company working in Pakistan. So what's your take on that in terms of how lucrative it will be if somebody's working for Realme, and what are the kind of perks you guys provide, the benefits or the culture of the company? If we could talk about that, because the youth might be very interested in knowing how Realme is the kind of place to work for.
All right, I start from the most relevant part, which is the perk. I think I have that confidence that Realme is at least doing the top pay in smartphone company. Yeah, that's the first take. And second thing, which you may attach less importance to, but all of the employees in our company, they think that is a hidden perk, is that the work culture, it's really like opposite to some of the traditional companies, which is toxic. I mean, in Realme, so if you take a look at Realme's stuff, the first keyword you will get is young. Like from the management and to the other staff, you find that the average age is around 25 to 35. Yeah, that's quite rare in the industry. And secondly, as for the work culture, uh, because all of the team members are nearly at the same age, or you can say all of us are youngsters, where we could talk and discuss everything without having that kind of hierarchy mindset in mind. So what you might discover in our work environment is that just 1 minute ago we had a very serious meeting, and a minute later, and people, they're just talking, like very casually, and they even have snacks everywhere. But so that's the kind of work atmosphere I'd like to stress here, which is a very additional perk towards our employees. And thirdly, which is the most hidden perk, is that you can only discover that after working with us for a certain time. Yeah, it's a totally different kind of strategy taken every time. So in Realme, you'll find so in the industry you'll find it somehow. Usually you're doing the same routine work over and over again. Yeah, but in Realme it doesn't happen. You can say, like, for 3 months we have three kinds of projects, and each project we have different strategy, and you will find every time we are just discovering and exploring new strategies and new approaches and doing something new, which you'll never find in the industry. And this is quite encouraging to our staff. And I believe this is the kind of perk that people who actually and I believe this is the kind of perk that gives a real boost towards our team building. Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting to hear. I think it's a great incentive for the people and for the youth out there who want to actually come and join any tech company at the end of the day, because we all are actually looking forward towards working at a place where we have this leverage to, do out of the box things every other day. And if Realme is doing that, then kudos to them. So I would want to talk about this new trend of vlogging and content creation that is happening in Pakistan a lot now. And again, that circles back to the same conversation that people opt for good phones now. So if I ask you, what is Realme doing in terms of that are you guys coming up with something new that could actually cater to that market of vloggers and bloggers and content creators who could actually use a Realme to shoot their videos? Because we only see there's Apple and there's Samsung, and then they're actually doing PR packages for maybe any other phone company and saying it's a great phone, but at the end of the day they have a Samsung or an Apple. So are you guys coming up with a new phone that could actually be a competition to those phones?
All right, I think the key of these questions is, of course, those vloggers, those influencers, they have certain taste for their devices, but that doesn't mean that we're just inferior, to them. So you have to take this from a strategy perspective, because right now in Pakistan, we are just trying to increase our awareness by introducing lower end devices more into Pakistan. I think this is the kind of stage where every brand is gonna experience. Yeah. But I believe in the future, when Realme is introducing more high-end devices, and things like this would definitely be relieved. Yeah, and I believe there would be more video vloggers and influencers who are willing to try out our devices that are totally competitive towards competitors like Samsung and Apple. Yeah.
Right, I think that is quite an initiative if you guys are going to take that. If you don't mind, can I ask you which phone are you using?
I'm right now using Realme 12.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. So you're not using Apple or Samsung.
Yeah.
Right. This could be like, we'll put this in the podcast. Okay. So I would like to dive deep into the features now a bit. So there's this notion, and I actually also have been an Android user and an Apple user. And what I see a huge difference in terms of how you actually, when you're using Apple, the experience is far different from what you use in Android, because Android keeps on hanging. It does. So what difference are you guys bringing in that term? Because at a certain point, I also see Samsung hangs a lot. So why is Android behind in that sense from Apple?
The processor, of course, it's compared with Apple at a higher level. This comparison isn't fair. Yeah, this is the first thing. And second thing, when it comes to fluency, we have to admit that Apple is doing better than any other Android. You have to take this as sort of advantage and disadvantage kind of thing. So when it comes to Apple, you take fluency as a kind of advantage for sure, and obviously you are taking disadvantages like the battery issue and signal issue as well, where it's hardly seen in Android devices. Yeah. So we believe in the future, for high-end products.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for the people who are using Android, if they do a switch to Apple, I've seen a lot of people coming back to Android again, because there are a lot of issues with Apple phones as well. So yeah, take it. Now, if I talk about Realme again, what new is coming? What can we see that would be happening in the next 5 years? What are you guys experimenting with?
Well, I think 5 years is too long in this rapid industry.
Oh,
yeah.
For China.
So what we can tell right now is that at least for the coming next year, we're gonna have a lot of surprises. Yeah, because we have a lot of projects in the pipeline, and one of which you've never seen before. Yeah. So I'm gonna disclose something here, is that we are gonna launch really big, or you can say flagship, here in Pakistan, and for the first time in 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So just stay tuned.
Okay, Larry, so now if you can tell me about what future holds for Realme, and what innovative strategies are you working on right now?
So actually, ever since 2023, after I came back to Pakistan, I think the biggest change we made here is that so first of all, we started what the other brands are doing these days, and or what they have been doing for the past 5 years, and we found that so the major strategy of the mainstream brands, they are just taking celebrities and they're shooting TVCs. All right, after studying other competitors in the market, what they have been doing in the industry for the past 5 years, and we just found that we can compare or compete with them under the same budget, because we are not the kind of brand that is investing huge amount of money into the marketing. We'd rather spend money, share the margin with our customers to bring down the price. Yeah. If you're gonna talk about how different our strategies, then it could be derived into two questions. So first, we would like to ask ourselves, who are the people we are marketing? So actually, I don't think major brands here, they are thinking of these questions, because normally they market about high-end devices. Yeah. And it's just after the research, we found that the majority here, they are using devices that are of lower price range. So if it almost takes like 70% or 80% of the share, then why don't we just market? Yeah, this is the first question. And second question we'd like to ask is that what kind of marketing strategy, or how do you do the marketing? Yeah. So after research of what the other competitors are doing for this, you can say 5 years, right? We could tell that most brands are using celebrities as their to their advantage, and they are promoting their ads, commercials on all kinds of platforms, channels, and OH. Yeah. So I think this is the mainstream strategy. But as Realme, we have to think that whether this fits the situation. We cannot just follow other brands that all right, this brand is doing celebrity marketing, and we're gonna do it. Yeah, we cannot just do something like following them, yeah, without having our own thought. So what we do is that we question ourselves: do people really like seeing celebrity ads? Actually, they do, but also there's another trend coming with TikTok. As you can see, TikTok is growing rapidly in Pakistan as well. So what you can find is that people are curious about those interesting content, those comedies, those dramas on TikTok. So this is where the inspiration comes from. So besides celebrity ad, we could also leverage this kind of you can say content marketing. Yeah, and also it's of lower cost, and it makes the brand feel closer, yeah, towards customers. So that's why we took our strategy from there. Yeah. And it turned out that these two strategies came pretty well. Yeah, first is the low end marketing, and second is the content marketing. So that's how Note 50 was taking a very significant victory, yeah, in the market.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of brands who are leveraging influencer marketing and celebrity marketing now because that comes in our favor. There's a lot of trend we see on social media of TikTok and other social media sites. So that's great that Realme is working towards that too.
And also, one more thing to add here is that doing low-end marketing doesn't mean that we have no premium bracket, yeah, to focus.
So also I saw this ad campaign of Realme in which there was Shaheen Afridi featured. How did that campaign come along?
Yeah, you just reminded me. Since I just talked that we have the low-end marketing strategy in mind, but actually we're not discarding the premium bracket. I think in that bracket we should have someone who can fit that image. Yeah. So we went to Shaheen and we cooperated for 12 series. And even after taking celebrity on board, what you can tell the difference is from other brands is that the materials were made with Shaheen. It also contains a sort of content vibe. It's not like a showcase of premium celebrity just holding his phone and doing some poses. Yeah, we just totally discard those kind of boring plots. And what we are doing is we shot 3 short videos with him, and each of the video is receiving very good feedback because it's people like to see those kind of content. Yeah, they don't just want to see celebrity posing and doing decent pictures. Actually, what the other brands are doing is having celebrity on board and doing all kinds of fancy poses and good looking pictures, and those cinematic vibe of the content, right? And what we are doing is to try to make people see the celebrity of their more of their daily life. I think this brings us closer to our customers, and I think this is why the marketing of Realme 12 series has done a big hit. Yeah.
Well, I must say it was a very creative campaign I saw. And I think whenever we talk about marketing, it's not just a strategy, it's also the right time you do it on. And Shaheen is also on the top of his game right now. So incorporating him in your campaign, I think that was a good move.
Yep, that was a really good catch.
Very good move. Okay, so now I think enough of the Samsung Apple talk. Now, if we talk about Realme in itself, so the kind of phone that Realme is, there are a lot of competition in the market with regards to Realme. We see there's Tecno, we see there's Oppo, we see there's Xiaomi. So how do you think Realme is different from those companies, and what is that USP you guys are offering that the same phones in the same niche they aren't offering?
All right, for this question, I think it could be put this way. So you could consider there are 2 groups in the market. So one is Vivo, Oppo, and Realme. So what the strategy is that we provide devices with more reliable quality, and meanwhile with a slightly higher price than the other brands. Yeah, and I think this a kind of trade-off based on our user knowledge. Yeah. Because what we found in our user research is that people here in Pakistan, what they are willing to do is to get a phone that could last for long. Yeah, instead of asking for those fancy features. So that's how we differentiate from the other brands. And even more advancedly, what we are doing is that we offered the industry exclusive 24-month warranty, whereas there's no other brand. And secondly, what Realme is doing is we move even one step forward than Vivo and Oppo, is that we are offering 24-month warranty, which is totally exclusive in the industry for nearly half a month. And even right now, no other brands is following up. So the insight behind this is that from user research, we found that people here in Pakistan, they prefer phones that could last for longer times. Yeah, they would like to trade that with certain raise of the price compared with the other brands. And actually it was quite successful.
Okay, Larry, one last thing that I want to ask you is that what is that one common trait that you see in your personality and in Realme?
I think it has to be young and brave, because we are a brand to make it real, right? We are a brand that are ready to change the world, are ready to change the rule.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much for taking out time. I think our audience, after listening to this podcast, you guys will be gaining a lot of customers now who would be inclined towards getting Realme. So, Larry, any last advice that you'd want to give to the youth of Pakistan?
Youth of Pakistan. Well, that was a quite tricky question. I think take your action and think differently. And most importantly, come to Realme.